Tell me, detective, in your wildest
Hi YouTube, it's Marilyn here. It's starting a book club part 2. I just finished up the third Descendants book. It was reveal Descendants book 1, Descendants book 2, and I just got done reading Descendants book 3. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and the notification bell so you won't miss any of these in the future. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment or feel free to ask me on the live chat. And you can do it right here. This is my book 2. So let's talk about now and then. I know we're all disappointed into the Descendants Disney for a little bit because we were hoping for Descendants 4. But we all gonna hear about Mel and Ben's wedding. It's going to be a cartoon animated. But let's talk about the first Descendants book. How they all four of them met, which is I know Evie's a very best friend of Mel since they were kids. So let's talk about the first book. Well, let's talk about the third book. It did introduce a character. We all know the 3 movies of Descendants, but I'm going to talk about them in a later on date. But Mel and Ben are getting married soon. So I want to talk about how Irma really got into the mix before the movies, and she is the daughter of Ursula, which is Ursula is not really much my favorite villains. Maleficent wasn't really much my favorite villain either, and Gaston. Now I thought he got killed off in the Beauty and the Beast franchise, but somehow he's got a son named Gil. I think he's got mentioned either the first 2 or the third book, or maybe the one I'm going to start off, or the one at a later date, which is the escape from the Isle of Lost. Now, these prequel books are really good. I enjoyed them. I'm going to reach the author one of these days, hopefully. To all. Now, let's just talk about Irma. How did she get her name? And how did she get her name? May I ask, how did she get her name? I need a chance. So it's just what it is. So I was just reading the whole book. I'm gonna read this book sometime by tonight. When I started reading these books, I never get a chance to put none of them down. Let's just go back to the very first book of Isle of the Lost, and you probably know these pictures. If you got a paperback, you get the picture. I know, but this one has the sequel movie pictures. Shows how the second one is coming about, stuff like that. But I like Jay. I like Jay. Thank you, Jay, for you and Lonnie. This is how Lonnie and him I met in the first or the second book. But Jay and Lonnie, let's just talk about those 2. I think Jay and Lonnie did look like a good match from the first movie. She was trying to kick his behind through the second movie. But Lonnie and Jay, I'd like to say this, but Jay and Lonnie, I think Jay's got a huge crush on Lonnie when they first met, and but the only thing is Lonnie's parents, which is Milan and Lee Shay, and everybody knows what happened to the parents of hers. Where are the parents? How come we haven't seen them? Are we gonna see them in the 4th movie? Now we all know Hercules is Mel's dad, and he's not mentioned in the first book. He's not mentioned in the second. He's kind of mentioned in the third. Yeah, I know that's Ursula. That's Green Titan's Pitchfork. If you're all wondering about that. So, are there questions? Anyone? Got a question for me? I can take some questions now. Now that we're done. I can just check and see if I can kick some questions now. Any questions? I can kick the questions now, and if not, I'll end this live stream tonight. You'll review it. So, okay, let's just review this third book. In a later on date, I will review the fourth. Oops, um, this fourth book. As soon as I get done, as soon as I start reading it, and I'll tell you the other characters that weren't mentioned in the movies. Might be in the book, but Hades, I think he got mentioned in here a little bit. Mel, on the other hand, and of course, Jay and Lonnie. We gotta, hopefully we'll see Lonnie in that fourth one. But in all three of these books, I've read. Talk about the Descendants does. Hopefully we'll get a question or two. I don't see anything in the live chat. So any questions for me? Any questions got for me? Anything in particular? Anything in particular? If you want to talk about my posters, there's plenty of them. So if you're wondering what is going on, I can run the live stream right now. If you have questions, you can feel free to ask. Feel free to ask me right now. And if you really are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So this is the second book. Let me explain this. It's the Return to Isle of the Lost, book 2. I don't know if Hades is really got mentioned into this or not, but Maleficent got mentioned in here a couple of times, and which is, Carlos and Cruella got in here. Those are their parents of the four villains, but I think Hades got in here, and it's really Mel's dead. Well, will we ever see more of Hades in the fourth Descendants movie? If it's ever going to happen, I'm not quite sure if it will happen. Right now, let's just talk about Mel and Ben. I know all of us are disappointed because this is really, really bizarre. Yeah, if I ever find it, I'm also going to do this in the future. The Twisted Tail box. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a mini series of that. So I'm going to find my first one. I know I got to clean up my room again. I apologize for the way it looks right now. So, any comments right here?
And was working with Tommy Venti to find the real killer. You dismissed
So,
charges against a street thug named
do you have any questions here? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions here? Hello? Any questions? Do we have questions here? Everybody in the hands? So, feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you're new, you can click the subscribe button. So,
flip on parody in exchange for
any questions? So any questions, just feel free to give any questions. If you're a big, huge fan of Descendants books and the movies, and the Mel Ben Royal Wedding coming up in summer, I'm sure everybody will be disappointed that they're not making Descendants 4. But Disney, if you're watching this, I want to reach out to you. Please make a Descendants 4, and I also need some Star Wars updates too. I like the sequel trilogy a lot. I think Rey. Yeah, that's a good question about Rise of Skywalker movie. It did wind up, but the original trilogy characters, Luke Skywalker, if he did not die in The Last Jedi, I know this doesn't deal with the Descendants, but let me give you, if you're also a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of Star Wars, I can start off with some Star Wars books in the future. If you want me to do that in the my YouTube channel, make it more interesting. I can also do that, and I can also if we can also talk about the Star Wars, we can also put some. I can talk. We can talk about some Star Wars stuff. But for right now, let's just talk. I know because now Star Wars is now part of Disney now, so um, we can talk about how. Now, I know you all have questions about why in the world I'm talking just about Descendants and not, you're seeing the Star Wars poster, Bon Jovi poster. That, I'm here to on Bon Jovi because if there's Bon Jovi fans out there that wondering what's with all the Bon Jovi posters and my Star Wars posters, that is really the Empire Strikes Back. And I got the Return on this side, Force Awakens. I got Last Rise of Skywalker, and I don't know how many colors I got. I'm a collector, so if you're wondering, you feel free to ask me questions. I just want to get some books, but I'm also doing one for Facebook and their Twitter. So if you want to, feel free to ask me questions. If you want me to talk about some Star Wars books, the novels, I know the sequels should be about Ben Skywalker. Yeah, Ben Solo. Yeah, that. If you're wondering why, if you all watch that sequel trilogy, I know it should be Mara and Jade. It should be Luke and Mara and Jade, like the comic book canon. I know they don't always put her in a movie, but Disney Plus has finally gotten more popularity, and cable is going downhill. I think it's Spectrum. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you can just leave me a comment saying, "Hey, can you please start talking about the Star Wars books?" You can we can do a live stream on Facebook. I can we can do that, or we can start putting videos on, or we can do this on the channel. So feel free. So like a comment. Okay, if you have no questions for me, I can end this stream tonight. And I'll see you in the next book club meeting. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll see you on the next book club video. Thank you and good night.
Hey, I would say too. I don't know, but I think we just held on to our friendship.